use your fuel sources. So when you're going out, we're going to start teaching the body to use primarily fat as a fuel source versus glycogen and so on. And so as we get better at that, you're going to get fitter, but you might not see the physiological, the body composition changes that quickly. But then once it does happen, it happens quickly.
Oh, I see.
Then you're like, Chris, I might be a little worried I'm losing weight too quickly, too fast. That happens for a lot of people.
Really?
They stay pretty steady, and the next thing you know, it just comes off, right? So.
This is like a 3-year journey for me, so.
Well, the good thing is you're going to need a lot of new clothes.
Yeah.
I'm serious about that. It's going to, because what happens is the lean muscle mass is way long term, and it's a lot more effective, and you're not going to be just gaining weight and springing around. Once the body recognizes what we're doing here, it will stay there. And in the beginning, it'll fight you a little bit of what we're doing, but the beauty is you're not dieting.
Right.
You're dieting and exercising. You're changing your diet, your daily routines, and exercising. So you could combine those two, it has a lot more powerful foundation for the next 2, 3, 4, 20 years.
Yeah.
So this is all, from that perspective, also how you're looking at it. This is a lifestyle change and something that will have an effect for the next 20, 25 years. And I'm not saying that that's guaranteed the outcome, but that's your mindset of what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, what I want to help you with is that way you're healthy, you're fit, you're active, and you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
And we'll throw in a few events here and there.
Yeah. I love the medals.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Good.
I spent many years just kind of being mediocre.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing these 5Ks just a lark. You know? Got that first medal. I was like, yeah, I did this.
Yeah.
You know, even a little 5K, this is cool.
It's doing it.
Sitting on the couch not doing anything. You know?
Yeah. Well, the good thing also now is the couch is going to feel a lot more comfortable. Right? And I say that, and a lot of people are like, well, what do you really mean? Because the work you did and the training you did, like, you feel really good sitting on the couch today. And you're like, you know what? I deserve this. And I'm going to sit here for an hour and I'm going to watch some TV and rehydrate. And I'm going to be happy about it. Because you know what? I worked hard all morning or all week, etc. Right? Like, I think I was reading the other day, you trained at like midnight or something like that, or 11 p.m. If you're making those sacrifices, you deserve some couch.
What were you looking for specifically with this test? I mean, to be able to define
those heart rate
those
zones.
specific zones?
And what type of energy systems you're recruiting as we increase the resistance to the test.
Right, I see.
And so as you increase the resistance, your body recruits different energy systems, aerobic and anaerobic, and how it supplies those. I often compare it to like those NASCAR funnel, gas funnels, right? You have those two and they're feeding into the same gas tank of the car, but there's two guys holding up one. One's fats as your primary fuel source, and the other one is glycogen as your primary fuel source.
Right.
And there's, at different exercise intensities, one is being sucked or utilized more than the other. And oftentimes we feel really good when it's both about equal, but that might not be the best for the event or what we're trying to, what our outcome of the training is. And so therefore we're either going to work the training to recruit more of one, fats, for aerobic exercise in order to go longer distances, because that energy, that fuel source, that funnel goes to the moon. There's so much fuel source in fats that you practically can't run out. And this one's a lot smaller. It's only about this big. But when it's empty, you can't just fill in the top. It's done. It'll take about 24 hours to properly restore it, replenish it. So we got to be careful with this one. So we want to primarily recruit this one as we're going longer distances. If we're just going to 5K or shorter distances, let's blow this one out. It's a lot more powerful. It's a lot more, has a lot more octane in it. It's like one of those super clean, fast, high energy burning gases, glycogen. This one, like a diesel, right? Might not be the cleanest, but it burns forever, right? So that's how it sort of works. And so that's what we're determining with the test in order to see where those crossover marks are, where it's about equal, where it's primarily glycogen, where it's primarily fats, and how it's delivering. And we can tell that from, that's why we pricked your ear to determine lactate.
Cool. What would be, for instance, the numbers you were looking at for the lactate, Phil, how did that work? How did that breakdown work? Were you looking, was there
So we're looking.
what's a high number?
Well, lactate, and just like with the heart rate zones, lactate is very individual.
Right.
So depending on how you slept, your hydration level, what you last ate,
Right.
when you last ate, how we started the test, how you warmed up, all these things affect heart rate and lactate. Just like heart rate, you increase exercise, there's an increase in lactate, blood lactate. But unlike heart rate, where it's fairly linear relationship between effort and heart rate, where if you go from 100 watts to 150 watts, you expect a kind of a linear relationship that it's going to get harder. Lactate could settle into a steady state, and then there's these breaking points. So that's what we're trying to evaluate, is where your steady states are. That's why we do 4-minute stages,
Right.
so we can evaluate more or less a steady state between the stages, and then at each data point we could see, is it going up, is it staying the same, where those breaking points are, and then those allow Chris to individualize a plan, dependent on what type of metrics you measure.
Right.
So this was all based on power, but you're utilizing heart rate as your primary feedback, as opposed to using wattage.
Where do you think I'm at right now? And by the way, don't pull punches. It's okay.
Oh, don't worry, I never pull punch. We're starting from scratch,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
We're definitely, but that's why we wanted to do this test. I mean, it's also for your learning. The more you know about yourself and your values and your data, the better you can engage in the workout, and you can focus on what you want to improve on.
Yeah.
And we're definitely starting at scratch. I mean, we've got to rebuild your aerobic engine from scratch. So we're going to take your current engine, disassemble it in the driveway, and we're going to build it nice and clean from scratch.